Mhm. All right, friends. Hi, happy Friday. We are live here just like every Friday on It's Oil About You. It is August 23rd, and today we have a super popular, let's say, topic, something that you guys have been asking about a lot, is essential oils for digestion, for bloating, for any sort of maybe like food intolerances or different ways that our digestive system might react to certain things in our lifestyle, what we're eating, how we're living, stress, and things like that. You guys have been asking, for this topic a lot. It was shown up a lot in the survey that I sent out to you guys, usually at the end of every month, just to get some feedback. You guys ask for this a lot. We also had a lot of like side chatter happening in the chat about this topic too. One time when Vincent was on here, he can't be with us today. He's another great one too. Let me add Jessica. Hi, Jessica. He's another great one to talk about digestive issues. So Vincent's not on here today, but usually he is, and he's one of the builders on my team too. He talks about that a lot. And so him and somebody else were having a side conversation in the chat, which segues me to let you guys know that you guys can write anything and anything that you want in the chat, use it to talk and interact with each other, ask questions, all of those sorts of things. But one day, Vincent and one other person joining on the call were having kind of a side conversation about how they were dealing with issues like gastritis and other types of digestive discomfort. And so even though it wasn't like our specific topic, there were people, vibing about it and talking about it in the chat. So then I was like, okay, we need to put this on the schedule for August because you guys have been asking about this a lot. And I reached out to Delisha, and she's been on here before. You guys know this. Hi, Alicia. Delisha's been on here before, and she's one of our rock star builders on our team. And I wrote her, I'm like, hey, anybody on your team that, has anything that they want to share with us regarding how essential oils have helped them and their digestive system, and just like with bloating, digestive issues, any stomach problems, food allergies, just anything like that. And Delisha was like, yeah, my sister Deshay. So I'm super excited because Deshay is here with us to share lots of cool, let's say, good ways of looking at digestive discomfort as cool, but like cool and natural ways to use natural solutions in your life if you're experiencing any of these things. So feel free to ask like specific questions in the chat and we can go over that as well. But so Deshay, thank you for being here. We're super excited to hear your story. And I'm just going to let you take it away with sharing how you got into essential oils and how they've helped you in terms of this particular topic.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I actually have a gluten intolerance, so I have I don't know if you can hear me well.
I can hear you perfect.
Okay, a lot of digestive issues. So when I got into doTERRA, one of the first oils that I used up was my digestin because it worked so well for me with my digestive comfort.
Yeah, I'm holding it up for you, girl. This is the Digestin. It's so,
you have the you can use the roller. I have the capsule. I have the oil. I have the digest tabs. One of the problems, how I knew that I had gluten intolerance, was because I had acid reflux and I would get heartburn all the time and my throat would start closing up, and I cut out gluten out of my diet, and some of those symptoms that went away, like the acid reflux. Occasionally when I eat red stuff, like pastas or something with a lot of carbs, still gluten-free, but I'll get heartburn, and the digest tabs are great for that. And any digestive comfort, I use my digestin, and it literally takes it away. I put it in my water. I like the taste. It's a strong taste. It's kind of acquired taste, but I really love it. It's one of my backup oils that I always keep on hand. The digestive soft gels are great for any nausea, any stomach pain, any abdominal cramps from food discomfort. And another product that I really love are the Terrazymes, because they help to break down the food, because I have a sluggish digestive system because of my gluten intolerance. And the digestive Terrazymes, they help to kickstart my digestive system and help to break down my food and gives my stomach a break so it doesn't have to do all the work on its own. Another problem that I've run into with having a gluten intolerance is that my stomach lining is not the greatest. So grapefruit is an awesome oil for repairing your stomach lining and your digestive system. And doTERRA just launched ginger earlier this year, and I use these I go to this bag in like 3 weeks.
It tastes so
Yeah, they're so
good.
good.
I love the ginger drops. They're
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. They ginger and lemon. They come with ginger and lemon essential oils, and they help with nausea. Every once in a while, I'll get like really bad nausea, and those things were great. And also, I use the peppermint beadlets for nausea or digestive comfort. I love that doTERRA has so many products available for the digestive system. That's one of the reasons why I got started with the business.
Yes, no, all the, I'm sorry, I'm hearing a little feedback for myself. Are you hearing me echo?
No, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
perfect. Then I think it's
Yeah.
just maybe something in my headphones. No,
Yeah.
I love all of the things that you mentioned. I think that, yeah, it's been a great experience for you to use the oils and see some relief. Have you, like, and this is just kind of like a personal question and kind of a segue into thinking about this too, but do you like completely cut gluten out of your diet? Do you minimize it? Like, what does that look like for you in terms of lifestyle change in addition to the natural solutions like using oils and stuff like that?
I do not eat gluten at all.
Got
So,
it. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So
If
awesome.
if I go out to a restaurant sometimes and I ask like, "Oh, is this gluten free?" and they say yeah, sometimes like they're not very like honest and some of the stuff isn't gluten free. So if I get like accidental gluten, I go for my digestion. It helps like right away. Digestion, digest tabs. I'm
When you
trying to think
use
of
the
what else I use.
digestive oil, like how do you use it? Do you put it directly drops in your mouth or what do you do?
I put it in my water so it
Okay.
can start helping right away. And then I actually have a little digest blend I've made with green mandarin, black pepper, digestion, peppermint, and cardamom. And so I'll rub that on my stomach and I also use Breathe because it kind of shocks my airways when I have gluten. So I'll like that when if I start panicking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to get my digestion in, take some Terrazyme so it can start breaking down the gluten in the food, and then I'll rub my Breathe on my chest or on my throat. So it's like, all right,
Are you celiac?
yes,
Okay, got it. So that's what, okay, cool.
mm-hmm.
Because I think some people don't realize that because you said gluten, they're like, yeah, it's not necessarily that they like maybe lied that there's not gluten in a product or another, but with people
Mm-hmm.
with serious sensitivities like celiac, the cross contamination is
Yeah,
actually what can sometimes cause these flare ups. And that's why
mm-hmm.
sometimes you'll see, just so that you guys know and you can be more mindful when you're shopping and like looking for things. It's like, for example, like oatmeal is a gluten free product, but it's oftentimes, produced in places where they make
Mm-hmm.
cereals and other grains and other things. So if it's on the same machines or like in the same space, that, gluten can still come on to, let's say, gluten-free products. And then when someone like Deshay eats them with somebody who really doesn't have the enzyme to break down gluten, then you end up with all these feelings of bloating and things like that. And I think kudos to you as well. I mean, with celiacs, you pretty much, you figure it out. But for some people, they have really serious gluten sensitivities and intolerances. And they oftentimes become like identified with that, where it's like, oh, I have problems with this. I'm always dealing with this, whatever. And it seems like you've really like identified what it was, removed it from your lifestyle, and then continuing to move forward with natural solutions. And I think that's cool too, because oftentimes with digestion or bloating or just different sensitivities, it's like, oh, I can't eat that, or I can't have this, or I can't be this, or whatever. And you kind of get in that really, funny slump of like, everything is gluten and my life is over. So I think it's really inspiring to see somebody, smiling and doing your absolute best to incorporate these natural solutions here. I'm just going to read some of the questions that came in really fast, and then I want to talk about Terrazyme too, because I really like Terrazyme. If I'm unsure that a good will trigger, I think she means oil. Alicia, I think you mean oil, right? If I'm unsure that an oil will trigger my IBS, I take the Terrazyme, or a food, not a good. Okay, a food will trigger my IBS. I take the Terrazyme before eating. Okay, perfect. That's a great segue into what I wanted to talk about next. For me, I found that they are much more effective if I take prior to eating versus during or after. Digestive is what hooked me on doTERRA. I have it everywhere so that I am never without it. So that's funny. I didn't even see that you said Terrazyme in your question, but I wanted to move on to this product because I really love Terrazyme. I think that Terrazyme is a fantastic product. It has has, digestive enzymes in it that help us break down our foods, because quite frankly, like, we have a gut, we have a digestive system, but at the rate that we're eating, when we're not chewing, when we're eating, let's say treating our bodies the best, then our digestive system is not really like working its best. And let's say the juices are not flowing as much as they should. And figuratively and kind of, and kind of like mentally as well, like the juices are just like not there to break things down and to do what our digestive system needs to do in order to process foods correctly, to deliver those nutrients to our body and all those types of things. And so the reason why I love Terrazyme and to talk about it is because, like, whenever, I'm working with somebody, I never give them like a specific diet, and except of course, if you have celiacs and you have to remove certain things from your diet, but nonetheless, there's always a lot of fiber and a lot of vegetables and incorporated in a healthy diet, because that's just what helps clean our, help our digestive system clean itself, so many nutrients and fibrous vegetables and things like that. But a lot of people, if they're not used to it, if they're used to eating, fast food and a lot of, things that are not high in fiber, it can be taxing on the digestive system as well. So sometimes people are like, I don't like, eating vegetables or eating this, like this gives me gas or this makes me bloated or whatever. Terrazyme is a fantastic product if you are starting to incorporate more of those options in your diet, and you can kind of skip over some of that discomfort just by supporting your body ahead of time. So I love what Alicia said, is like she's found that they are much more effective when she does this. So in order to find what is most effective for you, you have to try, you have to not necessarily try and fail, but do like trial and error to figure out what works for you and which products work for you, and using them consistently is a big one too. And so I kudos to you for that, to just like taking the time to get to know yourself a little bit. I really love the kind of the topic behind that. And she said Digestin is what hooked me on doTERRA. So a lot of people absolutely love Digestin. And for those of you that don't know, like maybe you're like, oh, I know Digestin maybe, but I'm not really sure what's in it. I'm just going to let you know what's inside of the blend, which is peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, and fennel. I love fennel too, and I love fennel soups. But if you smell it, for me, I mean, Deshay, I don't know what you think. It kind of smells like black licorice. Like, doesn't that what it smells like to you?
And you can really smell the fennel in it. Yeah.
That's kind of like the black licorice smell. The funny thing is, though, is like, I wouldn't say I don't like the smell. And I also, it's not like my favorite thing in the world, but I definitely don't not like the smell. Like, it's cool. But it reminds me of my dad's mom, because she used to always chew, well, she's still alive, but she used to always chew black licorice. And so it just reminds me of her. When I smell it, I'm like, oh, this reminds me of my dad's like mom. And she's so sweet and so funny and so hilarious. So that's what that smell kind of reminds me of too. And I guess something soothing about like remembering your grandmother, maybe a little bit, if you will, is kind of soothing to the system as well. And the stress, that Scott's nodding as well. I just think, certain oils as well, like, will affect you in different ways just based on how the smells, kind of interact with what's going on in your head, what's going on in your body and everything. And so I think another reason why I love this oil so much is just because of kind of, the memory and the soothing feelings that it brings to my body. Another one you mentioned is peppermint, and I like peppermint a lot too. I also like Breathe. I didn't bring it with me from my oil section, but I have these two here. And and even like Deshay said, you put a couple drops in your water, but if you have the Digestive Touch, you can just roll it on your stomach and just do like a nice stomach massage if you want to. Abdominal massages feel really good in order to soothe the stomach and self-soothe a little bit, if you will. Will you hold up the Digest tabs, Deshay, the ones that you said help with heartburn? Okay, cool. So these are really awesome as well. They're the Digest tabs, and they are basically like your Tums replacement. So it's your like your acid indigestion kind of like charcoal, if you will, pills that you would normally get at the store as like Tums or just like other types of things. And these are a much better option because it doesn't have a lot of the crap ingredients that a lot of the other ones do. Plus, it has the power of Digestin in it. So those are really, really good and a great option as well, because as you know, we've been doing It's Oil About You for a really long time, but I just love talking about how to bit by bit, slowly starting to notice different things in your life and then slowly starting to replace them with oils. And I think Tums is one of those things where you probably have them in your cupboard and you're like, oh yeah, I don't really use them that much. And sometimes I do, but once those run out, I want to swap in something that's more natural and better for my body. And so a lot of people don't know about that product, and I really like them. I really like the the Digestive soft gels as well. And I actually really like the oil, when traveling too. If you ever feel like any sort of nausea or even like, in the air, some digestive discomfort, if I'm on an airplane or something like that, I just literally do a little kind of smell like that too. So that helps with like, let's say your everyday basic, maybe issues you might have with digestive stuff. So, and how has life been after incorporating oils into your lifestyle? Did you ever feel like you were searching for a solution and couldn't find one, or were oils something that kind of snuck up on you? So tell us what that journey more or less looked like for you over the last year. How old are you, by the way? Will you share your age with us?
I'm 26.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Proactive. I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I was always searching for something like to ease my digestive discomfort, like a good probiotic too. And I love doTERRA's probiotic because it has a prebiotic and a probiotic, and I can feel that it really balances out my gut flora, like, and helps me maintain good bacteria in my gut. So, and another oil that I really love is Slim and Sassy. Because with gluten intolerance or allergy or something with celiac, your nutrients really are not getting absorbed as much as someone that doesn't have that. And the oils in Slim and Sassy actually help my stomach and my body and my blood and my cells to absorb all the nutrients that I'm getting from my food, and along with my LLD and my PB Assist. So one of the things that I was always searching for was, before doTERRA, was a good probiotic, and with doTERRA I found an excellent probiotic. I also love the PB Assist Juniors. I don't have them on me right now. I just ran out. I need to order some.
PB Assist Juniors myself too. So the PB Assists are the capsules, you guys, and then the PB Assist Junior are actually like these little like individual packets. They kind of are like a pixie stick or like a sugar stick we used to have as kids, but you can mix them with water. But they have powder that'll like dissolve in your mouth consistency. So sometimes I just take them separately. They were made for kids, but like I'm a kid at heart. We're all big kids. So if you feel like you'd rather, I think there are some slight differences because that one's really made for kids. But nonetheless, if you want to get in a good quality probiotic and just have the powder, it tastes so good. And your kids will love it too. You can mix it in their yogurt. You can put it in smoothies. You can put it, like I said, take it straight to the mouth and just drink some water afterwards. Put it in your water, put it in, like your juice or something that you're drinking. So I think those are fantastic products. So super cool. I'm putting all the links in here so that you guys can check out some of the products.
So something that I do faithfully every morning is take a Terrazyme on empty stomach and take my probiotics on an empty stomach. And that's how I kickstart my digestion for the day.
Got it. Awesome. I love that. Whenever we do the Cleanse and Restore kit, PB Assist. Whenever we do the Cleanse and Restore kit, that's one of the things, if you guys have cleansed with us before, that they have you do when you're cleansing is take a Terrazyme the first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And I think it's really, really, interesting and cool to see, like, in the morning before we like start putting our body to work, before we start putting food in there to break it down, like let's give it some support. Let's give it some digestive enzymes and things to work with, more juices to flow, if you will, more teammates on the field, just to kind of get things together, and supporting your body ahead of time, knowing what your body is capable of and knowing what you need to do to get there ahead of time. There'll always be times where you're like, what's going on? And you try to figure it out and you try to say like, what's my body telling me? What's my body telling me? But once you figure it out, it's kind of like, you owe it to yourself to know what to do to keep your, body performing at its best, and knowing when it gets upset with you and what you're doing wrong or what you could be doing better, or so I think that's really, really awesome. Super cool. We have a lot going on in the chat box here, so I'm gonna read this. Excuse me. But I wanted to put the PB Assist probiotic in the chat really fast. So let me do that. There we go. Okay. So Alicia says, because of cross-contamination, one of my friends and her son both have severe gluten intolerance, celiac, and they have a service dog that has been trained to detect any and warn them of it. I know that's not oil related, but I thought it was pretty cool. It's so related here. My son and nephew love the kids' PB Assist and always ask if they could take another one. I have to remind them it's not candy. It tastes good. Yeah, it's like the more healthier, better option of like the Flintstones vitamins that we had as a kid, if you will. You all like, oh, really good. But just one a day is suffice for the PB Assist Junior, especially for kids. And I never heard about these service dogs before, so I think that's really cool. Have you heard of these before? But I don't think yours is as severe, or?
No, I've never heard of that, but that's great.
Yeah, I've heard of that before, with like seizures, like epileptic
Oh yeah.
seizures. When people have epilepsy, I've heard having dogs for that because then they can alert the family if something's going on,
Hmm.
and so parents can like, relax and not relax, but like don't have to be, awake all the time checking on their child or their loved one. And so I've heard of that before, but I've never heard of the one about celiacs. But I'm assuming that means for that person it's probably very, very, very serious, and if they
Yes,
have it, it's like
it's
a nut allergy, if you will. It's like if you
hmm
have it, it's not cool. So hey,
yeah.
Scott, did you have anything to add while you're standing there in your awesome doTERRA shirt? I know that you've used Digestive a lot, and we would love to hear your man's perspective, your side of the story. Unmute. Can you unmute yourself? Let's see. Yeah, wait, no, hold on. Unmute. Is it not working? It's okay if it's not. I just
There
know
it
that
goes.
Scott. Oh, there you go. There you go. Cool.
I'm on my
Awesome.
I'm on my iPad. I just came back from my
Yeah, it's all good. We're
yeah,
casual here.
yeah. I slept sitting up for about 4 years because of my gut issues. So peppermint's the big one that started it for me. So I like everybody else, I probably carried peppermint beadlets in my pocket everywhere. Digestin got me back on the roll. For a long time I couldn't even use Terrazyme because my gut would just kind of explode. I found, like everybody else, that if you take it earlier, it works better for most of us. I can usually either take it right before I eat or, 45 minutes before I eat, and I don't have the same problems I do that if I try to, especially with things like pasta. If I try and do it afterwards, then I start to get a little acid reflux and stuff comes up. So that's a challenge I'm working on, and I'm getting there with those. One of the coolest things I try to tell people is drink water. Most of us don't drink enough water for things like that. So drink more water than you think you need to. Especially, I'm like London. I get up in the morning and I go through probably 2 to 3 liters of water before I probably even leave the bedroom. It's just this big bottle that sits there, and that's my kickstart. And I find when I do that, I have better success during the day with digestion.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Probably the big
Yeah.
one.
So a lot of people can't imagine their lives without certain digestive issues, discomfort. Like you said, you slept sitting up, like severe, acid reflux, bloating. Like there's a lot of things that, that we can experience, and that can be, something that's kind of regularly showing itself up in our lives. And as you can see with Deshay and with Scott, they found like real relief in a way that's like somehow, I don't want to say simple, but quite simple. It's like you use your oils, you use them consistently. You do, we're not asking, or, you're doing it yourself, but it's not about like, flipping everything on its head and like forgetting everything, and, becoming a whole different, like everything, like in terms of like shaking everything up and not feeling like you're in control. It's like, it's literally like Scott said, like he doesn't go anywhere without peppermint beadlets or having peppermint, just using them on a regular basis and getting content with knowing that you're kind of doing something that's making your body more happy and excited about. It's more accepting to, it's more receptive to these natural solutions than a lot of these toxic man-made, like, replacements for what already exists in nature. And so I'm just super pumped for you guys that you guys have found relief there. For me personally, I use Digestive, but it's usually, if I've just eaten like too much, or like Terrazyme, if I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to town on like a ton of vegetables, or maybe eat more than normal, but I just use it kind of on a case-by-case basis. But it's something that I definitely always have on, because you just never know. And traveling, trying different foods, just can really be, sometimes a little bit uncomfortable. We don't really want to talk about it. And for some reason, it's like, a taboo issue to talk about, but it was a highly requested one. And we have a lot of people joining live today. So I think it's really cool to talk about and shed light on. Mm-hmm.
One thing is, sorry about that, is remember our bodies are legacy machines, okay? They developed 50,000 years ago. They haven't modified or mutated or done anything lately to our newer diets, okay? So all diets will work for the right person. So when you see these digestive issues, you can usually go back and figure out why you're having that now, and your body will change. You're not with that forever, to different degrees and things like that. But our bodies like natural things. So the more you use that, the better you will feel. The better you feel, the better you absorb. The more you absorb, the healthier you get. The body can heal. So just trace it down and find out where it is and work towards where you should be. We all go at different paces and things like that. There's no instant cure. There's none of that. I probably will never be My gut will probably never be perfect because of all the antibiotics and stuff I took in the first 4 or 5 years of my life because of the issues I had with allergies and asthma and all that kind of stuff, and always was sick. Tetracycline stained my teeth yellow. I will never probably get as far as I could get, but I will get way better than I'm at right now. So don't feel
You'll
stuck.
get as far as you can.
Move towards it. Yeah, move towards it.
Okay.
Move forward. You'll find things that will help you.
Yeah. Deshay, I mean, we have a few more minutes here, but did you ever try like any other, let's say, very typical products to try to help with any of the discomfort you were having before doTERRA, or were you just kind of looking for things in general? Just curious to know if you were like, I don't know, stuck on Tums, or you always had to take, you know what I mean? Certain things that people.
Yeah. Before doTERRA, I wasn't really I always looked for the natural solution. So I wouldn't take like Tums, like Tylenol, any over-the-counter anything. Like I would never reach for that. So I would look for like natural remedies. So I would go on Pinterest or go on Google something. So I would take like ACV, apple cider vinegar. I would take that. What else would I take? My aunt had this crazy solution that I never did. It was like baking soda and water. Like if she had too much oil with her food, she was like, "Oh, just drink a glass of water with a tablespoon of baking soda." I'm like, no. So I would do like lemon, like get a lemon, squeeze some lemon in my water for bloating or something. And I actually do that with doTERRA's lemon. That's the first thing. Like when I drink water in the morning, I'll put lemon in there. So just to cleanse like everything. Before I have any other drink, I'll drink lemon water. So yeah, before doTERRA, I was just using ACV, and it would help.
You're more the natural seeker anyways, and you just found more of what you were looking for through doTERRA. Yeah. I was just curious because we haven't had this conversation before, and I think it's awesome to not only know like where someone was when they figured out or found out about doTERRA, but just like a little bit deeper into their story. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. I think it's so inspiring to see somebody young and vibrant and excited about life who's taking, you know, control of her health early on. So kudos to you, and we're just so excited that you're here with us and that you're able to share this kind of these kind of experiences that we all go through, that I think the more we share, the more we all kind of realize together, like, hey, we're all human, like we're all going through stuff, but like, what are we going to use? Like, let's find some good stuff so we're not getting sick and we're not, you know, having, you know, adverse reactions and whatever. So I think it's it's exciting to see when things become more and more tribe-like and we can all support each other and ask questions and so with that being said, thank you. It was so great to have you. And any of you guys listening, if you ever feel like, you know, I have a story I could tell, or I've had some really great success with oils, or a topic that I just really like to talk a lot about, and this has been coming up a lot in my life or in my family's life, like just tell us. Like we would love to talk about it. You can always hit reply to any of the emails that I send you guys, whether it's a Thursday reminder or a Friday, a Friday reminder the day of the webinar. You can always just hit reply to any of those emails, and the email comes directly back to me, so you guys can check that out for sure. And then just hit me a reply and let me know what you want to talk about, and then we can either make that a topic, or we can unmute you and you can be just audio, you can be video and audio, however you like, but just to kind of talk about one or two ways that oils have helped you in your life in that particular topic. Like we would totally love to open the doors to have everybody and anyone come to share what they know, because and on top of just sharing what you know, it's to like help other people, which is fantastic. But I especially feel like if you're into oils and you like talking about them and you like, describing them, you should do it more often. And so I find personally, when I learn something, I love to teach it, or I love to talk with someone about it or have a conversation about it, whether it's like live here on the webinar, or if it's like with Scott on our one-on-one weekly call. Like sometimes we'll just vibe off of a particular topic. It helps things stick better. So the more that you talk about it and share your story and, you know, talk about oils in ways that they've helped you, the better you'll get at that. And like Deshay said, she started in the business as well. So if it's something that's interesting for you, then you're more than welcome to let us know, and we can get you registered and signed up to be a wellness advocate. So that way you can start getting rewarded for doing what you're already doing, which is sharing stuff. But nonetheless, if you need a platform to talk about how much you love oils, just hit reply. Like I love to talk, Scott and I love to talk. I love having special guests on here too, but I know that my story is just one story. And I know that a lot of people have really awesome stories. So I want to use this platform as well for you guys to just come on and talk about how they've worked best for you. Invite your friends, invite people who are curious about oils, because I know in this day and age, it's all hard, not only one not only on one end to get people who live in the same area at the same time to get together and talk about something cool, let alone like, you know, all over the world in all different time zones like we are, which is so amazing. So that's why I love this platform here for you guys to just come and hang out and we can talk about what we all know and love. So Jessica said, have you already done the topic anxiety? So we did the topic, and we can do it again too. We did the topic, and I'll send you the link, Jessica. It's a really good one, you guys. It's on the playlist for all the episodes. But the one that we did with Adrienne, which was essential oils for addiction, that was so good. I cried. Adrienne cried. She is an amazing story. She, has suffered from addictions of all sorts, but anxiety, depression, and all the other side effects and things that came with living the lifestyle that she was living. And she shed some light on some really awesome oils to help with anxiety and stress and things like that. So I can send you that replay, Jessica, and you can look at it at all on the playlist of all the episodes we've ever done, which is a really, really good one. I think we talked about like PT. I'd have to go back and look, to be honest, and tell you what our exact topics were. I remember the gist of most topics, but we've been doing this now every week for a year. So I don't know if I can remember the exact topics off the top of our head, but I think that's a really great topic to talk about essential oils, because it's not always what's happening to us, let's say, in terms of like physical bloating or muscle aches and pains and things that we can use oils for in terms of like physical remedies, but being able to use oils and their aromatic benefits and even their topical and internal benefits to really turn our moods around and help us get a hold of our emotions and ways that we react to certain situations as well. And for everybody, that story is totally different, which is why I feel that essential oils and emotion is just like such an incredible topic to talk about and share stories on, because it's a topic that a lot of people go through in one way or another, in one, level or another in terms of severity. Yeah, Jessica. Okay, Scott, PTSD, that is Vetiver, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's one of the
Vetiver.
most successful ones we have with the work I do with the Marines down in Camp Pendleton.
Yeah, okay, so Scott works with the Marines down in Camp Pendleton, Jessica, and Vetiver. I'm going to show it to you. It's a super thick oil. I absolutely love it. I have it. So when you hold it upside down, you really have to let it come out. It's very, very thick. But I love it. Like if I want to go to bed and like just, lights out, I always do lavender, a serenity, and probably a couple times a week I'll add in the Vetiver. And I love the way that it smells. And I put it like on my neck. I put it on the small of my back. I put it on my feet. You can just put it in the diffuser, but for PTSD, Vetiver is really, really awesome. Vetiver, doTERRA, Blogspot. By the way, friends, you can always type in the name of the oil, doTERRA, and Blogspot in your search engine, and it will pop up tons of articles. So even if you don't know exactly which article you're looking for, or like exactly what you're going to find, as long as you know like the name of the oil, or let's say something that maybe you're struggling with, doTERRA and Blogspot, you'll always get an awesome blog article with tons and tons and tons of information. So Jessica, there's Vetiver in the chat box. I just put that there. She said she used Serenity, Balance, and Roman Chamomile. Those are really good calming and relaxing oils, but Vetiver is like really, really specific for PTSD. So I think that you have to see how he likes to smell. I really like the smell. I think it's really soothing and relaxing. I'm going to try to look up PTSD in the app too. So I always talk about as well the Essential Life app, where you can type in like the name of the oil, or you can type in the name of the ailment. For example, I'm sure they have PTSD. Yeah. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Sorry, go ahead, Scott. Yeah.
I'm sorry, when I unmiked, the gardener guy's out in the back doing the blower.
Don't be sorry. It's all good.
Jana has a son-in-law who did 3 tours in Iraq, I believe. He's an EOD specialist, which means he took care of the IEDs, and he's had some disabilities and things. When he uses Vetiver, he does not have nightmares. That's the huge thing, is they get sleep, and the sleep helps them get through things. Remember, this is just a tool. It doesn't get rid of it. That's other things that have to happen, and experiences some you don't, but it stops the nightmares for him. Okay, and he uses it throughout the day whenever he wants to use it. So you can use it as much as you need to. Generally, smelling it is what's the best. So sometimes they can just, because it's hard to get out, you just take the cap off, and you can just kind of sit there and smell it. And the way it goes through the olfactory glands into the brain, it helps slow that down. Diffusing it at night is great for nightmares. He was on a hunting trip, forgot it, had a nightmare. Obviously, you don't want to do that when you're restaurants around. And so a buddy of his actually drove like 5 miles back, and somebody drove from town 5 miles to meet him to get it to him.
Got it.
So it's a tool. So another thing with this, if you're talking about emotions and anxieties things, get used to carrying this stuff with you. So many of us we leave the house and then it's like, oh, I don't have it with me. So start making your little emergency packs and things so you have stuff with you all the time. That's one of the biggest things when it comes to emotions, anxieties, and that kind of stuff, is have it with you. If you don't, it's not going to do you any good.
For sure. I love that blend too that you said, Jessica, with Serenity, Balance, and Roman Chamomile. So inside of the Essential Life app that I use, it says post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It says Melissa, and this looks like, yeah, okay, so Melissa, Roman Chamomile, and Heliochrysum. You can take internically, topically, or aromatically. And then Balance and Neroli are topically or aromatically, so you wouldn't eat Balance or Neroli. I love Neroli, by the way. It smells so good. That's some solutions there. And then there's another one that says PTSD, stress, traumatic, past and present. So I guess this is another PTSD section of the app. Blue tansy, cedarwood, frankincense, heliochrysum, and jasmine. So maybe just jot down those. And then you can decide which ones you have and make a blend like Scott said, and maybe just have him carry it around with him more on a regular basis and put it on proactively and not just in situations of desperation where you're like, I gotta sleep, or like I'm having a moment, like oils everywhere, and then feel like it's gonna, there's some oils that really work instantaneously and things like that. But I found as well, the more you turn to them and the more that you look to them for support and for, let's say, the plant power and wisdom that they truly are, then the more effective it is and receptive into your body as well, I found with the oils, which I love so much. It's called Essential Life. Essential Life is the name of the app, Jessica. So she's asking what the name of the app is. It's that one.
I actually like that app. I did it.
I love it.
Ago did it, and I'm like, that's a good one. Here's the thing: most of you guys have seen us do the scanner. So when it comes to the idea of trying to make a mix, you can read the book, and that's a great way. When you're with that person, pull the oils out and let them smell it. Take the top 2 or 3 that they love to smell, and that's their mix. Your brain makes you do things to survive, right? And it's telling you, I've got to have that. So if you love the smell drives us. That's kind of how you can sit with somebody with 10 oils and say, I don't really know which is the one perfect for you, but let them smell them. I deal with kids all the time. It's like, which one do you want to use? Oh, I like that one. Great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's something that I like to do every so often as well. Like, especially if I have my oils with me and I'm like traveling or I'm somewhere where I have time, I like to just start to open caps of different oils and just smelling them when I have like 10 or 15 minutes and just like notice in this season, in this time of my life, in this period of whatever I'm going through, or just like, just as part of life, these are the oils that like speak to me the most and that my body is just getting so excited and such good vibes over. Because usually, in different, when your body needs different things, you can kind of follow your nose a little bit. And I always find that there's certain oils where I always stick to them more or less, but then sometimes I smell something and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that oil, like I need that by my side all the time. I don't even know why. I just love the smell. And that's like, for me, more than enough. Juniper berry, I love that too. Thanks for sharing, Deshay. I love juniper berry. It smells so good. I put that in the bath sometimes. Copaiba is awesome. Copaiba would be awesome as well, Jessica, for your husband with PTSD. It's very similar to, let's say, like a CBD oil in terms of the receptors that it binds to in our body, which makes it like available for a lot of amazing capabilities, because all of our cells pretty much can use it. So copaiba under the tongue, frankincense under the tongue is awesome habits to get into, especially if you want to get in control of the emotional things. I highly recommend that. So I think we got we switched into 2-ish topics here today, which was super cool. So a lot on digestion, a lot on bloating, a lot on any type of food allergies or discomfort, and then a lot on anxiety and just talking about what's going on in our lives in order to help improve the lives of the people that we love and ourselves as well, who we should love, using these natural solutions. So next week we have our last Friday of the month, last Friday in August, crazy madness. That's where we do our business and leadership Q&A. So if you are like thinking, what is doTERRA and how could we possibly do this as a business, or you're full-fledged in and you just want to, learn a little bit more and bounce ideas off of each other and ask questions and stay curious about your business, then we do the last Friday of every month. We reserve that time to not have a specific like topic, if you will, but to kind of let you guys ask the questions about your business, about your potential business, about your existing business, and about the ways that it could change your life with us next Friday. So that's what we will do there. I hope you guys can all join us. Thank you guys all for joining live. I wrote your name down for our giveaway, which we do at the end of every month. So we'll do that next Friday as well. So you get one entry for every time you join, and it all goes in a hat, and then I pull the hat out, or pull the paper out of the hat live. And we will pick the winner then next week as well. Thanks to Shay again. Thanks Scott again, and as always. And then thanks Jessica and Melissa and Alicia and Delisha for hopping on here live with us and hanging out. So have a good rest of your day and weekend, and have a great week next week. Catch you next Friday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.